the official yoga.
Matchups are set. The Colts head to Arrowhead. They will face Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in a good quarterback matchup in Foxborough between Rivers and Tom Brady in the other AFC showdown. In the NFC, it's the Eagles who will face the Saints. Don't forget, they handed them a 48-7 drubbing in Week 11, and the Cowboys will head to the West Coast to face the LA Rams. We continue with press coverage from our Seahawks reporter, Brady Henderson. Pete Carroll on ESPN Seattle this morning says he does not disagree with the thought that the Seahawks should have thrown more against Dallas, and says lack of third down conversions kept them from getting into their game plan. Later, he defended offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. So, needless to say, a perfect jumping off point for this on Overreaction Monday. Seattle's run-heavy game plan was the wrong approach. Lewis, overreaction or no?
It's not an overreaction. I would modify it a little bit to say this. Look, they are who they are. That's who Pete wanted to be. Pete wants to be a run-centric football team and have the play-action passing game built off of that type of philosophy. And that's not a bad approach. It's just that in game, you have to have the ability to make some adjustments here and understand when you're getting stoned at the point of attack and you're rushing the ball for less than 2 yards a carry, less than 3 yards a carry, and you know you have some opportunities down the field with your perimeter weapons, then make the change, especially when you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, who's one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL, and he put that on display late in the football game. He is a multi-dimensional weapon that when you need him and you need to change course, go to it. So why didn't they? I mean, he's already alluded to the fact that, hey, maybe we should have thrown it a little bit more. Well, then as the head coach also, you got to kind of get in Brian Schottenheimer's ear and be like, hey, man, this isn't quite working. As you notice, this game's getting away from us a little bit here, and we're getting stoned. And when we throw the football, we're looking pretty good. When more of it is on Russell and more of it is on Doug Baldwin, we're looking pretty good. So it's disappointing to see games play out like that. It's the same thing we talked about with the Ravens. It's disappointing when you see players not being utilized the way that maybe they should be.
It's an overreaction for me, though, because I don't think the tackles for Seattle in a game where they're trying to pass protect against the pass rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think they hold up. I think the plan to go in there and run the football is the right plan. It's what their strength was. Honestly, I think they feel like they have three, good, hard running backs. I think their offensive line is a better run blocking group than pass blocking group. I think we got to give credit to the Dallas Cowboys just, rising to the occasion. And listen, Russell Wilson can do a lot, but I think if we would have seen that game play out and let's say the Seattle Seahawks lose and Chris Carson only has, 7 carries, we'd all be like, what are you doing? Like this, for me, I think trying to run the ball is the right approach.
Yeah, at some point,
I'm not saying you can't adjust, but I think the plan is the game plan was to run the football a lot. That's been their game plan. It's worked. I think had to be the game plan going in.
There's a you just got beat scenario somewhere.
Yeah, well, also, but it's not an overreaction for me because I agree with Lewis. Any plan that can't be adjusted is a terrible plan. Right? If you come into the game thinking that these certain runs will work or you can attack a defense a certain way and you can't, you have to be able to adjust off that. Even if it was go to more quarterback runs and giving Russell Wilson a lot of time to have options, whether he can run the football or throw it, just do something else. And for me, when you get into playoff football, when things aren't going right as an offense, you put the ball in the hands of your best player. And no matter what this run game has done down the stretch, no matter how many yards Chris Carson has gained now that he's an 1,100-yard rusher, Russell Wilson is your best player. And the second best player on that offense is Doug Baldwin. Sure. Those two guys make things go. And so to me, you go to the best matchup when things aren't working well. Obviously, you couldn't block him in the run game. So give Russell Wilson an opportunity to throw the ball because he was effective when he had those chances.
You say Russell Wilson's the best player, Doug Baldwin too, except this team ran the football more than any team in the league. I think it averaged maybe more yards per carry than any team in the league. It made its reputation, its personality was to run the football. It got to the playoffs behind running the football. So why would you abandon what you've done best, what took you to the postseason? It didn't work out the way they wanted. Yes, they could have thrown the football a little bit more, but I don't think it was the wrong approach to try to run the football and keep Dallas's
But we're not talking about a New England-style abandonment where, the Patriots will come out and throw the ball 70 times when they figure they're not going to have any success running it and Tom just takes over. Yeah. We're not saying that. I'm just saying change the weighting a little bit to where, look, Russ, when he throws it, is one of the best throwers in the NFL. Move the pocket a little bit. Do some things as far as helping with pass protection, keeping more people in. Get the ball out quick. Doug Baldwin is a magician at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Get some quick passes going on here and try to mix it up because look, they were losing the line of scrimmage in the run game to a point where they weren't going anywhere. They weren't going to get anything.
And the way I
against
see it too,
defense.
we would be the number one defense year in, year out, and we'd play Tom Brady and he'd eat us alive, right? Because we were a three-deep team. We were a fire zone team. And one day Coach LeBeau just comes in. He's like, we're going to press man them. We're going to play 2-man, and we're going to play 1 free. And it wasn't what we did all the time, but it was the adjustment we had to make to beat that team. The next week, we went right back to doing what we always did that worked against everybody else. Sometimes you just have to make those adjustments to win a game. And they weren't able to do that. And to me, that's a bigger problem than coming into the game saying that you want to run.
Funny you say that, because that's exactly what the Patriots do.
Yeah.
Right,
they'll do whatever. They'll do exactly what is necessary. And not necessarily, again, you don't want to get away from who you are. And remember, we sat at the Combine last year, and Pete Carroll said, I want to get back to playing it the way I'm used to playing it. Running the ball, playing great defense.
That, and then followed through, I might add.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got there. But it's just at that time, in real time, you just got to be able to change a little bit.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between having an issue with the plan they came in with and the fact that maybe they didn't audible the way you thought they potentially could have. All right, how about this? Because really there's no arguing this did not work. Any kicker or punter should be able to execute an onside kick. And this is not Exhibit A because this was not well executed. Is this an overreaction to say you got to be able to do this? Not that it will work.
This is not an overreaction because they don't do anything else at practice. Like I'm not even talking about the fact that you want them to be able to do it. I'm just saying, what the hell? What else are you doing? Like you go look at those dudes, they throwing the ball back and forth. They're playing certain games where they try to punt the ball, hit the field goal post. They're throwing balls in the garbage cans. You ain't doing nothing anyway. So learn how to do that. Like you know that there is no other backup for the dude that's doing the other kicking, right? So if he's the field goal kicker, you know he ain't got no backup. If you're the punter, you know he ain't got no backup on the team. So why don't y'all both learn to do certain things? And the fact that they didn't have a guy to do it it cost them the opportunity to win this game. To have a chance at doing it, you have to have somebody who can execute an onside kick, who can execute other kicks other than what his number one job is.
It did look like a missed opportunity. I will say that. You don't know what's going to happen, but you want to give yourself a shot. Really.
Yeah. As someone who made his career playing special teams, look, we used to have special periods where we got pulled out of individual drills for our position and just practice special team stuff. So if we can do that, as a core special teams player, as a punter, you can take a little bit of time and go, hey, look, if Sebastian Janikowski gets hurt, I need to know how to do this. Even if it looks awful, like at least go through the mechanics of making it look like you know what you're doing. It didn't look like he knew what he was doing. When he kicked it, I'm telling you, I'm sitting there watching that thing and went, did I just see what I just saw? I
was actually excited at first because I was like, man, if he drop kicks this thing and it rolls and bounces up, it's going to be one of the most cool things.
Right, like you're going to see it now. The funniest comment you make, though, what else do you do? Andy Reid used to say this all the time in Philadelphia about wide receivers in particular. Because I don't really want to know about how fast they are and how big they are. If he can't catch, the number one job of receivers to catch. The number one job of kickers and punters is to know how to kick a football in various ways.
Here's the deal.
That's very disappointing.
This is not an overreaction. I coached 5th and 6th grade football this year, okay? Here's the deal. 5th and 6th grade football, you basically onside kick every single time because the kids can't kick it far enough. But you know what? Out of the 20-something kids that I had, I was able to find one kid that was really good at onside kicking. And he was like 10 years old, okay? If I can find a 10-year-old to execute perfectly, by the way, onside kicks like 3 times a game, then in the pros, the guy who's a punter who kicks the ball for a living should be able to onside kick. So this is not an overreaction.
It doesn't seem like a stretch. It really doesn't.
Pete Carroll just texted me. He wants the 10-year-old's number.
Listen, he wants to sign Eli Wilt to a contract.
There you go, Eli. Well done, Mike.
Hey, let me say this. Michael Dixon is the most talented, gifted punter and kicker in the NFL. He can do more things with a football with his leg than anybody. How he was able to do that on Saturday is still confounding to me. He obviously just mishit the he knows how to onside kick better than anybody right now. But how?
Well, are you sure?
There's no way. He made a mistake. Well, you know what? Listen.
Why wouldn't they put it on a tee and kick it that way?
The other thing I'd say is maybe he has a kick. A lot of these guys have multiple onside kicks that they hit. Okay. And so maybe they felt like he had a kick with this drop kick that was going to be something unusual, catch you off guard. Because the reality is,
it was unusual.
We've seen a few examples of this when kickers try to get real tricky.
Well, no,
I mean,
of course.
The Steelers had
he tried to kick it behind,
right, so
and he almost broke his leg trying to do it. I'm like, what are you doing?
But part of the reason you're doing that is that because of the way they've changed the kickoff rules, it's nearly impossible to recover these onside kicks because you don't get a running start.
Right,
and so now you're trying to come up with some other type of way to
go back to
confuse
the drawing
people on how to
board.
do
That's
it.
a whole different issue, though.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Well-
You can't pooch kick it and be like,
Man, that joke's
game
funny.
over.
He absolutely is capable of doing it. He did a poor job executing it. Just like
Adam,
Cody Parkey did a poor job
You must
executing
have,
it.
did you call somebody in Seattle and say, man, can he actually execute this kick?
That
watching it,
guy's incredible.
Yes.
he's incredible at everything but onside
he
kicking.
missed it. He missed
He
it.
missed
That's
it.
it.
What
Let's
was he
go with
trying
that.
to do, though?
By the way, if Tiger
knows?
Woods misses a putt, can he not putt? No. He missed a putt, and this guy missed an onside kick.
This is
At
a bad time to do it.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Tough timing. Tough timing. We'll give you that.
I'm not giving it to him. I don't think he can do it.
You don't think he knows?
I don't think he can do
All
it.
right. Listen, that seems improbable, but I guess you never know. Coming up, the legend of St. Nick continues. When we return, Lewis will tell us the secret. He's got it. He's the one to Nick Foles' success as we look ahead to this Saints.